This Sunday, PBS's Masterpiece continues with a dramatic version of Les Miserables. Jeffrey Brown has insight on this new version of an old story as part of Canvas, our series on arts and culture.
Most of us know it with Song, the recent Oscar-winning movie based on the hugely popular Broadway musical, both stemming from the 1862 novel by Victor Hugo. Now comes a new Les Miserables. No music, more story.
We could fall through at any time and no one would care.
But why should it always be like that?
On PBS's Masterpiece, told in serial form over 6 hours. Dominic West plays one of literature's great heroes, Jean Valjean. West, too, wondered at first about the need for a remake.
I realized that, like all classics, I suppose, it bears constant reinterpretation. You can't get a 1,500-page book into our musical, and so it deserves a 6-hour treatment, which it hasn't had in living memory anyway.
The story is set in 1815, just after France's defeat in the Battle of Waterloo. Released from prison after serving 19 years for stealing a loaf of bread, Valjean establishes a new life, crime-free. But he's pursued by French policeman Javert, one of literature's great bad guys.
I forbid it. This woman has been sentenced and she is going to prison. Take her to the cell.
Played by actor David Oyelowo, who's previously best known for his role as Martin Luther King in Selma.
With Javert, who I play, you never get into the psychology of why he is so obsessed with the pursuit of Jean Valjean.
In this Les Mis, the actors say, there's room for characters to develop. Lily Collins plays Fantine, the much-suffering, working-class young woman.
You have a whole episode dedicated to her being in Paris and falling in love and having a child and really being romance, so that when things go south for her, the audience feels more empathy and more attached to her storyline because they rooted for her.
This is a co-production with the UK's BBC. Rebecca Eaton is executive producer of Masterpiece.
It seemed kind of perfect timing to tackle that big canvas at the same time to tell the story of a hero. Hero stories are important because we don't have enough of them, in my view.
It's also a respite of sorts for Dominic West, who's best known for playing charming cads in shows like The Wire and more recently, The Affair.
You just made that pretty easy for me.
This offers a new challenge.
I think he's the greatest hero in literature. He's just, he's a superhero in that he climbs up the sides of houses and, you know, is stronger than anyone else. But he's also done 20 years in a hard labor in a, 19th century French prison. So he's tougher than any superhero you've ever heard of.
He's a hero who is kind of finding his own heroism. And I think we are desperately in need of that these days. We don't know what human heroes are anymore. We know what superheroes are, Transformers and things, but we don't know how a real person becomes a hero, and he's pretty real.
Just as some of the tensions driving this historical drama are real again today.
We live in a world now where there are more protests around the world than I think there have been since, say, the civil rights movement or the feminist movement in the 60s. I mean, gun laws, going against politicians, or the rise of terrorism. Whatever it is that people are holding placards up about, it is indisputable. Even right now, we see the yellow vests in Paris, where our show took place 200 years ago. So that, for me, was the reason to do it.
But the child is yours.
Is that a crime?
We as a society are still dealing with a lot of issues that bleed into a lot of the topics that were discussed in the series.
A series that tells the stories of those at the bottom.
One moment. What's interesting about this show is they look like the people who are like that, certainly in the UK now, but they're immigrants. They're the poorest of the poor. They're the people we pick on first because they're the weakest. And I think it's more relevant today than ever before.
Relevance producers hope attract a new audience to this oft-told tale over the coming weeks. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Jeffrey Brown in New York.